We're still working fine. Boom, boom. Angels. The angel card wants to come out today. We're going to pull 3 cards. They're going to, I just have a suspicion that they're going to each represent 1. So 6, 9, 10. First one, answered prayer. Well, that's for your 10s right there. That's an easy one. What next? Forgiveness, intention, playfulness. Oh, wow. It always comes up. I think I've done like 3 to 5 readings on this whole twin flame. So there's a 9 who is dealing with this twin flame energy. There are a few 9s dealing with the twin flame energy right now, and that's why they've realized that they want to be at a 10. So, and they need to do that through forgiveness. There's forgiveness for themselves, firstly, because that's the first thing that needs to come up. Forgiveness for past actions or misdeeds of themselves, and also forgiveness for any decisions that they made which didn't make sense to them, which don't make sense to them now. No, it is definitely saying the decision didn't make sense to them, but they made it anyway. Okay? And that's why you need to forgive yourself, because it's like, you fucked up, and it's like, well, yeah, I'm a human being. Okay? And that's why the intention then is to just move on and forgive. Forgive, forget, move on. And I don't mean forget as in forget the lesson and make the same mistake. I mean forget as in leave the pain behind. So that's for your 9s. Your 6s, who probably need to hear this the most of all. Although the 9s, there's definitely like a little bit of a heartbreak and a little bit of pain going on there. But your 6s, they're full of pain. And they keep trying to find answers to their issues in other places. And the worst part is that when they get an answer that is accurate, they discard the answer. This card came up to say that you need to play more, because through play is where you will realize who is telling you the truth. Play is going, if you take time, in fact, just last night, follow the vlogs, all right? Last night we had a cool little party, a little farewell thing for a friend who's going to Cape Town. Just last night, I had a conversation with someone who, she failed a module, and she was the only one of all her friends who failed the module, and she was also the only one who didn't ever go and party and have some fun. Playfulness is important because this is what hones your discernment. You can't be a human being operating at your maximum if you're not also giving yourself time to enjoy your life. Now, this is just coming in, just a quick one. It's just coming in a little bit with the 9s as well. They're saying as well, they're saying that if you did play a little bit, firstly, they're saying if you played too much, you need to be aware of that. But that's playing into addictions and stuff. And also miscommunications and miscommitments. But they're also saying that what you do need to do is find ways to play in a healthy capacity, because it just feels like there's a lot of, it just feels like heartbreak and anxiety, confusion. There's a lot of confusion here. Confusion's then matching into the 10 as well. However, the 10 has moved on to the answered prayer energy. So the 10 is currently sitting at the, yeah, it's cool, man. I know I'm going to jump this wall. It's happening. It's happening for us. Even though right now I'm a little bit impatient, you know, like all we talked about at the beginning of this reading, a little bit impatient. I'm a little bit like, universe, what more are you really wanting from me? Like, I really don't know what else to give at this point. So I'm just going to keep trudging like this, and I'm just going to keep hoping that everything's fine. Okay? Now, here's the interesting thing. Some of us here think that we're still down here. That's the first thing. One of the reasons for that is because we have someone down here who's important in an energy capacity. So it feels like we're holding on, or it feels like we're lingering. Like, yeah, we know our prayers are answered, but like, we also have a person that we kind of wanted to jump this wall with them. But then they're also saying that everything in divine timing. So we up here, the reason we get the answered prayer is because the second reason it came up. So this was the first reason that there's someone down here, but the second reason to add on top of that is, as a result of all of this, we've basically realized that we don't need to be down there anymore. I don't need to give this computer away to grow my audience. I now know there are multiple ways to do that, and I now know that I can work towards that. I just also know that it means putting in even more work. But that's what it means. That's always what it means. But the fact is, as long as I just keep consistently putting in the effort where I want my life to go, that's what the universe is saying. If you do that process, even if it does take 10 fucking years, and I'm hoping that it ends at this 10th year. I hope that I actually make it. No, I will. There's zero doubt in my head now. It's just annoying to feel a little bit stuck, but I understand why now. So the second thing on top of that is the whole process that we are realizing that, yes, there are actions we can take, and we do in our minds, because it constantly happened this way. In our minds, we still feel like we're at the 9. So even though physically we can even evidently see that we're a 10 right now, okay, or we're jumping into the 10. No, they're saying we're a 10, dude. We're at the 10. Our prayers are answered. They're just coming in. Remember, it's the same as it's like I want to manifest a meal. Boom, there's a meal. No, that's not. You then First, you got to find the source of the food. Then you got to make the food. Then you got to prep the meal. Then you got to, you know what I mean? There's a process because it's the physical world. Now, unfortunately for these peeps down here, that's why they have to do this again, because there's a process that they started that they realize they don't want. So they're going to have to reverse that process and come up like this. At least that's what keeps coming up. I don't know how that's going to work for you guys. Good luck there. Then the answered prayer is, the answered prayer is for the dude up here. Okay, that's pretty much that. So that's just the final thing there that just keeps popping up in my mind. I don't know if I said it already. Is the understanding, yes, it's the understanding that we feel like we're here, so we feel like we still need to make our own opportunities. But this is the universe saying, stop trying to make your own opportunities. Calm down. Relax with whatever you are doing and see what happens. Let things transpire a little bit. So big thing that's coming up, let's pull more cards. I'm getting dreaming. Your dreams again. The dreams are important. Nature. But that one comes up all the time because that's something that I always like. I swear I'm like a nature deity or something like that. That's right. I'm a female bitch. No. I think I have more. No. Actually, so inside our bodies, we have masculine and feminine energies. Just gonna do that. Yep. Yeah, I'm gonna. Uh-huh. Haha. Yeah. That's right. Okay, so we've now got 4 rows here. There's masculine, feminine energy in all of us. It's just yin and yang energy. Yin and yang. It's not about, I'm a man, I'm a woman. Okay? I don't know why I had to choose that to represent them. Anyway. So, meditation and nature. The reason these came out on the side there is because this is for everybody here. The 2 things that will help everyone here right now is a meditation process where it's going to be different for everyone. We're going to talk about it. And then nature is going to be the same for everybody. Nature is always the same. It's this. Get as much nature into your system as you possibly can. I went out at one point when I was forced to keep going into my freaking job. God damn. When I literally was like, well, I'm going to buy myself a little fucking pot plant. Because goddamn if I'm not going to have nature around me. But what I would actually do is I would have a routine tool of, everyone knows it now at this point, I'm sure, 5 minutes a day sitting in nature. That's it. Minimum. You can take 15 minutes every weekend, but that's such a small amount, 5 minutes a day, that's already a tiny amount. Dude, you wouldn't even finish your breakfast in 5 minutes. So you can take a breakfast outside, you can eat and enjoy the process, you know what I mean? Nature is important, guys, and it comes up for everybody, but specifically it's coming up for these peeps again, your sixes. Why? It sounds like that. It sounds like they've heard this over and over and over, and they just ignore it. No, actually, it sounds like some of them are still ignoring it. Some of them are taking it to heart, or have taken it to heart and are now working on it. But they have to work through disbelief as a result, because they now know that they've been let down by their community. So they feel like any advice they've been given is bad advice. So they need to figure out. They're now following intuition, and they're following the guidance that they think is right. And as a result, they'll come out on top, but only if they have faith. Because if they don't have faith, this is how faith works, guys. Do you want to know why faith works? It's because if you just believe that something's going to happen and you work to it until it happens, that was faith. It wasn't about like, I mean, it does work like that. Like, there is an element of esotericism that we still can't understand. Let's get real. As human beings, there are stuff that we can... Dude, I have experienced crazy stuff. I'm not even going to try and explain half of this shit. Not even to myself am I going to try. I'm like, what happened there? Like, no way, bro. But you know, the interesting thing is that as you progress, life actually shows you what happened there. But anyway, yeah, so this person is then following this advice which has been given to them, which they now intuitively are understanding to be true. But they have to have the faith to make it happen. And what that means is they have to have patience. They have to go 3 weeks. So it's always a 3-week process when it comes to nature. As long as you're diligent, it's a 3-week process. For me, it was just 1-week process. And then I got physical life results from putting this in. But I did a whole bunch of other stuff actually as well. But for you guys down there, for now, nature. But also your playfulness. Remember that. It's so important. What they're saying is find an activity, a recreational activity, take it outside, sit in the garden and do it. So my recommended one for me, from my mentor, when I was going through this process, or something similar at least, was to grab my, oh no, actually it was for my ninth attempt, I got this advice. So when I had to do my backtrack and then go up, because that was so hard, dude. And when I had to do that, the advice I was given was, take a painting, take a drawing, go outside and do it. And I was like, God damn, what are you talking? I think last time I drew something was when I was 6 years old, and it was appalling. Why do you think that is something that I should do? But I did it anyways, and it actually turned out to be magnificent. And that story came up, like you're wondering why I'm talking about myself now. The story came up because it's trying to prove a point that sometimes the advice you give is not what you think it is. So that's where the intuition comes into play. But guys, it's so easy as well. It's so easy on a psychological level. Are you gonna take advice from people who are living a half-assed life? It's that fucking simple, dude. Like, seriously. I think you guys are just overcomplicating your mind. Completely, you are overcomplicating your mind. This is tying in a little bit with your nines. The nines are also living in a community that is influencing their mind somehow. Okay, but yeah, so the playfulness is then going to bring the abundance. So these guys don't feel whoa, so that's interesting. So these guys here specifically are living abundantly. They have all their needs met. They have everything that they do want, even though they think they don't. Meanwhile, the only reason they don't feel abundant is because they're constantly in worry mode. Do you know what worry is? It's worship of the devil. And I don't mean that in your like religious way or esoteric way even. What is the devil? If you don't want to think esoteric or religion, the devil is just the bad side of you, okay? So if you're worrying, or it can also be this. So it's like, it's the bad side of you, but it's also the side of you that prevents you from enjoying life. So if you're constantly in worry mode, you're literally, if you need to think of it religiously or esoteric, you can think, you're literally thinking like you're being puppeteered by the devil, who's saying, you living a life that you don't like. Blah, blah, blah. Meanwhile, you're like, well, fuck you, bro. Actually, I've got this and I've got this. Gratitude is your biggest thing. But it's telling me that a lot of you are practicing your gratitude, although some of you might be giving up because you feel it's not working. If you're giving up on gratitude, I would say go harder. I would say get yourself a journal and start writing down your gratitude. I would say if you wished for one thing, I would say start being thankful for 3 things. If you were thankful for 3 things, I would say start doing that 2 to 3 times a day. Just take it up a notch. with the gratitude because that it's this energy that's lacking. It's heart energy. It's the heart energy that's lacking there. That's why they want you to play. That's why they want the gratitude. That's also why they want the nature. But the nature is also because your root chakra, basically, you're not grounded. This applies to everybody. And I'm not even kidding. Even us tens up, this applies to us because the tens, that's where all the impatience is coming from. So just go and do your nature. We need more nature. All right. But yeah, so that's what I'm getting for the sixes down here is that you guys are living abundantly. You just think you're not because you're allowing yourself to worry too much, and therefore your goal is to get playful. And also, like I said, nature. It'll kind of be the same for everybody, but nature is important for those guys. Absolutely, I think these guys already know it. No, the nines don't really. They get some nature. That's why they're at a 9. But there's something else. And then meditation. So the meditation that these guys want you to do is contemplation meditation. So that's why they want you to play. If you get involved in some of the best thinking, back before I could just sit and have my thoughts run, or meditate, whatever, the best thinking I did, especially through hard times, was get in the car and drive. Why? Because it was play for me. That's fun. And then I would have my most contemplative thoughts come through. Or I would sit in front of my computer and I'd play games. And I'd be playing games, and then, just mindlessly, and then all of a sudden I have an epiphany. It's like, I was not going to have that epiphany unless I took the time to play. Your meditation is going to manifest itself behind your playfulness. So find something fun to do to take. Literally, it's saying to take hours of your day. Now, remember to take that with a grain of salt. So you need to make sure that you're balanced. That's what they're saying more than anything. Okay. And then we've got the manifestation at the top of it. I don't think it's necessary. Signs, forgiveness, intention. Dude, this is so freaking... You nines, especially twin flames, or if you think there's someone important, then what are you waiting for? There's trust the process, actually. So it's like this double-edged energy. You're like, I need to do this action now, but also like, I'm so fucking scared. What am I supposed to do? I think they're saying to trust the signs there. There's a few people. So there's commitments that are in place which are not right. I don't mean that in any subjective way. Just on an energy level, my personal energy was not going to go with those commitments. But remember free will. So it's still saying that you guys completely have your own choice here. It feels like there's a risk involved in jumping something, taking a risk, taking a leap of faith. And it's saying when the time is right. It's saying when the signs are there, when you feel good about it. And it's not saying in terms of when you feel good, like you're unafraid, because it feels like there's fear. Duh, right? Even I'm still afraid of giving this thing away. So yeah, it's saying trust the signs, trust the process, everything's fine. Okay? Just forgive yourself. And if there are people around you that are making it hard to forgive yourself, that's the first clue to knowing who should and shouldn't be in your life. That was the last message to come through for you. When it comes to your nature side, meditation just disappeared, bro. Meditation stuck behind sixes. So your biggest thing is nature. So it's not meditation for you. Because you're not grounded. You're not grounded, so you need to get your nature. Right now, your mind is running. The words that came through are carelessly, aimlessly, and obsessive. The reason this is important for you, so when I talk about nature, I talk about it all the time. It's the only tool that I recommend to every person on the planet. And the reason for that is because there are literally 1,000,001 reasons why it's good. Now, one of the reasons that it's come specifically for you is for the whole grounding process. What's going to happen in your grounding process is that once you become strong in your groundedness, so that sits in your root chakra down here, okay, just like above your, well, depending, testes or a VJJ, and it sits right above there, and it's like a little red ball, and it glows like that, and it shoots its power into your legs, and it also goes into your arms actually, but your arms are also there for receiving and giving, which is your heart as well. But the root chakra is there for your groundedness. So you basically got to think about it like this way. If What does the root chakra remind you of? It's roots, right? So if you've got a giant tree that's grown all this way, but it didn't grow its roots, what's going to happen? It's going to fall over. Nature's point there is to help you develop your roots by having you go and sit and be around things which have developed their roots. That's what's going to happen for you here. I know it sounds woo and crazy esoteric, but it absolutely works. It worked for me. It works for you, but that's essentially what they want you to do. Why? It's going to unlock your patience, which is going to allow you to trust the process more, which is going to allow you to then see signs when you need to see signs. It's also going to allow you to start noticing your own patterns and your own signs. I'm sorry that I can't tell you where these signs are coming from. And I think that's because that's a very personal thing. So messages is one. So there's messages. So there's angel messages coming through. So that's the signs. Okay, so we did get it. There are angel messages. No. There's a lot more. There's the angel messages. There's higher self messages, inner child, heart messages as well. Your heart chakra is actually trying to speak to you. So if you were to listen to your heart, so do this. Three to 5 times a week, or 3 to 5 days. So either or. So okay, 3 to 5. Okay, so every 3 to 5 days. Every 3 to 5 days, go and enter your little meditation. So this is why this meditation is different for you guys. Enter a little meditation where you just go and you lie down, and regardless of what's going on in your head, you just center on your heart, and you just say, you basically are trying to share in the love of your heart. So you're trying to remind it that you love it, or actually you're trying to remind yourself that you love it because it knows you love it. And in return, it's going to reciprocate by feeding you the knowledge that you need in certain circumstances, which will then be your signs. So 3 to 5 days intervals, go and then for 3 minutes, just 3 minutes in that day after 3 to 5, go and lie down and try and connect to your heart. Now, what I would do, this was something that I haven't done in a long time, but I did it when I started because my heart was just goddamn broken all over the place. So I had to mend that, and that's what I did. And it got to a point where I didn't really know what I was doing. I didn't know if I was giving my heart love, or there was a lot of doubts. It was like, yeah, sure, I'm doing that, okay. But this is what I would do instead. Then I would then repeat a motto or something like that. So I would be like, I connect to my heart with love, and then I would look at my heart. Okay, this is also going to start developing your third eye because you then are trying to imagine your actual inner energy stuff. You're trying to imagine a body of you that you can't really see. You will see it eventually, and that's that point where what we're trying to do now, because you've taken your focus away from your heart. It's all up here. You're not going to see your signs up here because this is driven by ego, which is most often driven by other people's opinions and viewpoints. So now what's happening for you, this process that's happening, is that you're becoming solid in yourself in terms of your priorities. So you're realizing that other people's viewpoints are not what you want. You're basically realizing that you don't want to operate on your ego anymore. You now want to operate on your heart. And that means letting go of a lot of stuff. I heard the word retrenching come in. I don't know what it means though. It could be physical, but I think could be energy as well. But yes, there is retrench. So there's retrenchment. Yeah. So So there might be an actual process happening for you. So for some of you, if you don't take this action, something's still going to change, but it's going to change in a direction that it'll still change for you. So whether you do something now or not, something's going to happen. And that's the same for the guys up at the 10. The difference is that if you do something, that action, that risk, if that risk is taken when the time is right, so when you're ready, that's how you know when the time is right. When you just feel like you're ready. Ultimately, I think this process needs to go to become your heart first and not your ego. Because if there is that whole twin flame thing, or if there is somebody up here, or there might even be somebody down here, actually, I don't know, there's a lot. So there's someone down here for this person, there's someone up here for this person. There's a few people in between as well, which is why this person got the miracles card. So, okay, so this person up here. No, that's your miracles. All right. Is there anything more for this person? Sign. They're asking you to pay attention to certain signs. And these signs could be seeing somebody frequently when you think there's distance, or when you're not supposed to see them there, when it's not like a planned thing, but you see them and then you see them again. It's like, there's also other signs. There's ego signs as well. And this is something new to me. I've never even heard of this, but I've just been presented as your ego signs are actually how you heal your shadow. So your ego signs are things like when your ego screams at you things like that could never happen, or they would never want me, or something uber negative like that. That's your ego sign, because if as soon as you put that sort of block to it, at least for this person, when you put that, oh no, this is actually for everybody. When you put a block towards something, then it's just gonna block it and block it and block it. And the only place that block sits is in the ego, in the mind. Hey. So that's what's happening now, is you have to start learning to use your mind without the ego. You need to start using your mind for your own self-discernment rather than for inputting and outputting recommendations and suggestions of other people. Hey, and like I said, the nature is going to help a lot with that. I also think once you forgive yourself, you will develop a bit more courage to then set the intention to move forward in whichever direction you then choose for yourself. And you'll know, because of the signs that present themselves when you make your decisions, you'll know what's going on. It feels like you are connected to somebody, and it feels like you don't trust that that person is connected to you. Okay. Right. Then, answered prayer miracles. So this person up here, this is kind of just an obvious one, right? It's like, chill out, bruh. We're bringing you your miracles. You've been asking for these things for a long time. You've lived a hard life. So I'm going to detach myself from this category. Because even though I do kind of feel like I fall in here, I would rather do the whole displacing of my own energy again, because I don't want to make it like a subjective reading. I want it to be about you guys. Oh no, okay, that's wrong. Cool. That's fantastic. Thank you so goddamn. Yeah, so this is pretty much, there's nothing new to it. Okay, that's it. Trust that your miracles are coming because they've heard your prayers and they're being answered. It might take its time. It might have to have a meal prepped for you before you can eat it, but it's happening. But they need to keep your faith. It's only happening if you maintain faith. Right. Cool. And they're saying that you're already doing your nature. You're getting in enough meditation. You could do with a little bit more. For some of you. For others, it's just about finding balance. So there's this constant battle for balance. I know that I do personally fall in that one as well. Constantly striving for a balance where you want to work hard and enjoy your work, but it feels hard because there's no outcome. And as a result, you then just want to go out into the world and live your life anyways, because you're working towards that and it feels like it's not coming. So it's like, well, fuck it, I'm just going to go and do it anyways. That's kind of the energy that's coming there. And they're like, yeah, that's okay, but make sure that it's balanced. So make sure that you still do the work when you need. Make sure that you still jump on an opportunity if it presents yourself to you and you enjoy it. Okay? That's all that's said there. Is there any last reading? They're saying stop because I know this reading is big now. So I'm gonna go. There is just one card. Healing. Okay, so this process is just a healing process. There's nothing more to it. Okay. Thanks, guys, for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I hope it resonated and cool stuff presented itself to you. And I will see you in the next video. Guys, I've got vlogs. Go check out vlogs, okay? I've got some vlogs. Yeah, I do. I've also got a gaming channel and a bunch of other stuff. So I'd recommend that stuff.